Hey guys, and happy holidays. So let's be completely honest. I know the title to this video is why I only watch chronic illness YouTubers, but to be totally honest, I'd say I probably only about 95% of the YouTubers that I watch are chronic illness YouTubers or YouTubers with a disability or YouTubers who deal with some kind of health issue or injury or something like that. And there's a lot of reasons for that. I know I've realized over time that people who have sat and watched my YouTube like channels that I watch with me kind of feel confused about why, isn't it depressing or hard to watch so many people battling with illness or health issues, don't I want to watch something more uplifting? But the thing that I think people don't understand is that it's easier to watch people who are living a life that's more similar to yours. It's more uplifting for me and more encouraging for me. It gives me more inspiration to see people living their lives with some of the same struggles as I do. I would assume most people watch YouTube videos with people who either have lifestyles similar to theirs, like family vloggers, or people who do the same type of job and things like that, or someone that you're inspired to be like, or someone whose lifestyle you're hoping to eventually have something similar to. So for me, it's easier to watch videos, and no matter what the content is, sometimes it is just vlogs, sometimes it's makeup, sometimes it's doing crafts, or sometimes it really is just sharing their journey, their life journey with this illness. Those are easier for me to watch, and those are more enjoyable for me to watch because it shows me other people who are able to push through and prevail and share their lives in spite of their illness. It's more realistic. It's almost for me like the difference between watching YouTube channels of people from other countries who have access to things that I don't have access to, or don't have access to things that I have access to. So those may be entertaining and interesting to watch, but you can't necessarily apply it to your life because everything isn't the same. And I feel the same way when it comes to the YouTubers that I watch, the ones that I watch on a regular basis or even daily. I want to see how they push through their day or even just enjoy their day with their illness or chronic illness or whatever it is that's going on, because it gives me hope that I can do the same thing, or gives me ideas on tools or things I can do to help me live a life more fulfilling or closer to what my life was like before I started having health issues. So for me, if I'm going to watch someone put up their Christmas decorations or cook or go on a vacation, it's a lot easier for me to watch the people who are dealing with chronic illnesses or disabilities do those things, because they will point out and talk about adjustments that they have to make to this activity or to this choice that they're making due to their health issue. And that will help me do the same thing if I want to do those things. And it gives me hope that because even with their health issue or whatever it is that they're dealing with, they were still able to enjoy this, but also making you aware of some of the things that might come up when you're trying to do those things. So for me, I do my best to search out other chronic illness YouTubers. I do watch some people who purely watch them for entertainment or because I enjoy their personality, who don't have chronic illnesses, but I find myself more attracted to the channels that have lifestyles that are more similar to mine. So it just makes that in itself makes me more hopeful. And that's also why I aspire to have a more successful YouTube channel of my own, is because I want to share, my life and the things that I'm doing with rheumatoid arthritis and fibromyalgia, so that other people who are dealing with something similar, especially invisible illnesses, so that they can have hope that they can also do similar things or enjoy similar things in spite of the health issues that they have to deal with. Now, this is just me personally. I don't know if other chronic illness people watch the majority of other chronic illness vloggers as well. They may feel more inspired by watching people who are healthy because they want to manifest that in their life, in their mind, that they will have a completely healthy life as well. And of course, that's absolutely fine. But for me, I definitely want to be inspired for my future, but if my future does still include these health issues, which is a high likelihood, I want to be able to visualize it more realistically. I guess for me, that's a little bit healthier and easier to handle. And so even some of the people I watch, it may not even be a chronic illness. It may be similar lifestyle issues. Like, I'm a widow, so watching other widows moving on with their lives is helpful. But like, I love watching like van lifers and beauty channels, but those things are very different when you're dealing with a chronic illness. The way you can live, a nomad life, living in a van or a tiny house or in a cabin in the woods or something like that, like, that's something I would love to do one day. But I have to watch the YouTubers who are doing that and also have a chronic illness, because you can't live that lifestyle the same way when you have an illness to deal with as well. You have to make sure you still have access to your doctors, access to health insurance, and certain things that just have to still be there even when you're trying to, be somewhat off the grid or, a little bit more excluded from everything else. There are certain things that you do have to keep in mind because of the illness. I love watching moving vlogs and people getting new houses or new apartments and, showing their empty house tour and filling that over time and decorating. I love watching those. But to watch that with someone who has a health issue or chronic illness is a lot more realistic to me, because the choices that they're making are more based on those things. And it reminds me that, like, although I aspire to reach that point again in my life where I can do those things, it reminds me of the things that I have to keep in mind and think about. And it makes me so hopeful to see them succeed and be able to get their house or apartment exactly the way they want it, in addition to leaving space for their medical needs. Like, that's very inspiring for me. So, and even just the way they move, they may have to hire movers, they may have to use a certain amount of help. And then they have to also think about where they're located so that they're close to doctors' offices or hospitals and things like that. And those are so helpful and so inspiring for me to watch. So if you find yourself watching more of that and you're concerned that maybe it's not as healthy, I just want to be someone who is similar, and letting you know that it's understandable to want to watch things that are relatable to you. That's what most people do who watch YouTube. They're watching things that are relatable to them in their current lifestyle and situation. Yours just happens to be health issues and chronic illness. And it may be hard for others to understand that who aren't dealing with those things, because it seems like you're focusing on something very negative, but it's something very inspiring and something that makes you realize that you have the ability to achieve certain things as well, even at, like, because in all reality, like, it's really hard to watch someone who's perfectly healthy make these decisions in their lives that you wish you could make, but because of your health issues, that that's just not how something would work out. So it's really helpful to see people live their dreams, live their best life, and reach their goals in spite of their health issues. And it even is very helpful to have to watch someone who made a plan, who had a dream, but because of their health issues, it didn't work out, but they were able to change some aspect of that goal or dream and still be able to find fulfillment and happiness in spite of the health issue as well. Like, even if it doesn't turn out like 100% perfectly, it's still very helpful to see someone's choices play out in spite of the illness, or to play out with that illness, or to show what it's like to have to change their plan or their goal due to that illness, and see that they made it through that hard time and they were able to find other things that made them happy. So I just wanted to share that point of view that, as you're watching your Vlogmases right now and you're watching people decorate and get ready for the holidays and even travel to see their family or go on vacations, if due to your chronic illness you aren't able to do those things, find hope and find camaraderie in watching other YouTubers who have to make similar choices that you do, and know that you're not alone, and that, you know, those of us who try to put our lives here on YouTube, you know, we want to be able to express that with you, that you're not alone, that we're here to help and support, and that, you know, you have to make different choices. So for those of you out there who are probably watching different vlogmases or different YouTube channels where you see people doing these great holiday things, decorating their house or visiting family or taking trips or going on vacation, and you know that that's not what your holiday is going to look like, just know that there are plenty of other people out there like you who had to make some hard decisions as well during this holiday time, but are still able to find joy and happiness and fulfillment. And I just want to make sure that you guys feel supported and understood and represented. I would love to hear from any of you about how your holiday season is going, some of the things that you've had to change for your plans this year, especially with everything going on with the pandemic. And just, you know, I'd love to hear from you guys, to hear what your holiday is going to look like. And also some of the positives that have come out of how different your holiday is going to look this year. I think one of the other very positive things that happen with watching other chronic illness YouTubers or watching specific videos that get you prepared for something in your future is, if you do have a procedure or a test or, you know, something like that coming up, or a recent diagnosis, being able to watch other YouTubers who've gone through something similar can help you be prepared for what's coming, help you know what to expect. And that is something that I'm so grateful for, because especially even if you're having symptoms of something very specific and you're really concerned about that diagnosis, if you're able to hear from other people what some of those diagnoses that they've been told or that have been tested for, basically it can make it easier to hear something that might be hard to hear. If you've heard that sometimes things don't always go the way that other people planned or thought, it can be very helpful to hear what the other possibilities are, so that when you do get that news or do have to have that test done or whatever it may be, you know that there are other possibilities beyond what you maybe have been told. If you guys have any other suggestions of any chronic illness YouTubers out there, I'd love to hear some suggestions of new people to watch, new people to support. And thank you for being here, and thank you for watching this video. And for all my fellow Spoonies out there, I just want you to know that I'm thinking about you and I'm praying for you. You guys are all in my thoughts and prayers, and I'm so grateful for your support. And for all of my Spoonie supporters, thank you so much for sacrificing your time and your energy to be there for those of us who are in need of a little bit of extra help and understanding. Your compassion and your love makes a world of a difference, and we are so grateful for you. All right, guys. Bye.